Hello, everybody. So, where do I start? Um, so hopefully this video doesn't get banned because I don't know. Like we're still in a society where um, suicide is not accepted and it's ignored. It's it's seen as a taboo. It's like something very difficult to talk about. And I do get a lot of comments and then videos blocked because I do talk about suicide and support and advocacy of it. And the thing is that I I've always supported it. I feel that why do we always have to you know advocate for awareness, but yeah, we can advocate for like awareness as in like, oh, be aware of it, and then kind of protect your not be aware of it, and then be aware of the signs, and you know um don't let it happen, but then like you can't save them all. I'm just gonna tell you, like, you cannot save them all. Like, be realistic, don't be delusional. Like, this is the problem with our society, is that we're delusional. And me, being myself, I feel like a lot of people are delusional, and I feel they don't see reality. And just because um you don't want to talk about it, that doesn't mean it's happening. And because you're against it, like, people are still gonna do it regardless if you're against it or not. So I sorry, I just got a text message. So so that's why I advocate for it. I think that that's what they taught us in school. Well, like in my class, it's important to advocate. I think that's one of the things that is difficult to do, and I feel I do struggle with it. I feel like I cannot be an advocate. I feel like I'm too scared. I'm too weak. I feel like I cannot advocate for something, and I know that I think that we need to as a society um accept it. Have options, and we don't have options. So it's sad. I Oh, those people, the people that have been watching me for a long time, I guess you guys kind of understand me where I'm coming from versus someone that just watches my video randomly. I, I just want you to be aware that you can't save everyone, and just look at all the homeless people. Just look at all the drug addicts. There's so much that you could do. I mean, if you just think about it and you offer some protection to the people that want to kill themselves, like, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't wouldn't that be like a safe place, like offering a safe place where you're able to kill yourself and not suffer? I think that you know especially for my family, like, if you guys know what I've been through, with my brother committing suicide, and still living there, after 4 years of, since my brother killed himself, and we still live there. Like, it's a struggle, and I feel that my brother, I think that he should have been okay with talking about it. He committed he turned 18 when he committed suicide. Like, he was still a minor, and he got a gun before he was a minor, and then he committed himself. He killed himself like literally on his birthday at age 18. So, and it's not like my parents didn't try. I mean, they didn't try and they did try, but at some point, it's like you could help someone to a certain level. If they don't want to get help, then you can help. You can't help them. That's that. Like based on my experience, like let me tell you, like, do people want to die? Yes. And then I think it's wrong to stop someone from killing themselves. Like they're gonna attempt it regardless, you know. And then for the people that attempt it and don't want to do it again, you know, that's fine. No one's gonna judge you. You know, you probably feel guilty about it. You know, you regret it, and that's fine. Like, but don't let that, you know, um, get in the way of other people's lives experience. Like, I'm not gonna say like, oh, I'm suicidal, and then my brother's suicidal. I know how he felt. Oh, I know, you know, I'm glad for him. No, that he committed suicide. No, that's, you know, it's like I don't know his experience. I don't know what he was going through. You know, so I mean, don't devaluize or just dehumanize someone because, you know, of the situation. I think that that's wrong, and I feel that we need to advocate more for, you know, legal suicide. I think that, you know, we need to move on because, you know, it's something you really can't prevent. I mean, if you have like a medical system that helps someone commit suicide, I mean, if you're gonna have a safe place for them, you know, it's gonna be a safe place. Like, who wants to kill themselves with a gun? Like, think about it. Like, that's just horrible. Like, you know, like you like if you have insurance, like health insurance, and then like let's say we have a system that covers it, like you're gonna have a peaceful death, kinda. Like you could just like die peacefully versus like a gunshot wound. Like I mean, when we're talking about ethics, like I get it, like it's immoral. And then, but then, like, why would you allow someone to kill themselves with a gun instead of like a safe way? Like, does that make sense? Like, there's no logic in that. Like, I get that, and it's still like seen as negative. But think about it: would you rather have someone kill themselves with a gun or legally with like injections or whatever, like at a hospital or something? Um, yeah, I wish people understood. You know, don't live in a bubble. Like that's what I always been advocated. Don't live in a bubble. It's just like, but then when, but then again, you don't want to get lost like me. You know, like there's so much that you know you question, and it's just like someone messaged me. So, what else can I talk about? I don't know. I just feel like, I thought, just I don't know. Like, okay, so someone I was doing a video earlier, and then someone was trying to convince me, like, oh, about music and stuff. So I don't know how to connect with people like that, you know, especially advocate for something that is going to make my message go across to people. I don't know. To be honest, like I don't really care. You know, I'm not that type of person that's gonna be like yeah, like you know, like politics. I'm not gonna be political about it because for what? Why do I need to be politics about suicide? I don't need to be politic I don't need to be political about suicide. That's not my thing. And my thing is just to give awareness and to advocate for like an ethical, moral way of allowing people to commit suicide. I know it's not very ethical, but at the same point, like we know it's happening. We know you can't stop it. You can't stop it regardless of what you say. So I just feel that that's just my point to get across. And then I just wanted to state that like I'm majoring as a psychologist. As a psychologist, I would never ever ever encourage suicide. I feel that that's not really my job as a psychologist. Like I could never encourage that because it's unethical. In the state of California, it's unethical unless you have a terminal illness. So you could commit suicide legally in California, but you have to have cancer or like AIDS or whatever. So you have to be like with a terminal illness, and I wouldn't advocate for it like if in my field just because my job is to help people, not to in the sense of help them get better, help them with the stress. Now, for example, let me see. As an individual, I support and I advocate for legal suicide. Regardless if you have a terminal illness or not. You know, Now we could debate should people with mental illness that are suicidal be allowed to kill themselves. Let's say you reported being suicidal within, like, let's say the beginning of 2019, but then at 2020, the end of 2020, you're still suicidal. Now, does that mean like there's been a 1 year gap? So then, kind of like, yeah, let's give this person the right to kill themselves. It's been a year and no process has been made. Now, does the client have the right to commit suicide because like we've tried all these efforts and there's nothing we could do? So is it now that's where you debate, is it moral to you know allow this person to kill themselves? That's what you have to think about, like versus allowing someone that's in debt. Like if or someone that's in debt or someone that's like lost their house. That's different than having a mental illness. Like if someone lost their house, like do you want to let them kill themselves, or do you feel like I feel like as a psychologist you could help someone like recover belongings like that. I think that's more like easier to do and fix. Like if someone loses their house, like, and they're suicidal over it because the house. I mean, a house has value. Like it's like a personal space and all that. So it's difficult. Even to lose a house. So yeah, I feel like I feel even though it's so personal and valuable, I think you can still kind of fix that. And then versus mental illness, you can't really fix someone that's mentally ill. So that's that. And with someone that has terminal illness, you can't fix that out because they're gonna die regardless. So yeah, that's where the debate is. And as a psychologist, I wouldn't encourage like when I finished my degree in psychology, I wouldn't encourage that. But as a psychologist, but as an individual, I do advocate for it. So that's it. I think that's all I wanted to mention. Yeah, that's it. I was texting with someone, but I don't know what happened. My chat went dry. Yeah, I don't know what else I wanted to talk about. I forgot. I think that was it. Just the advocating versus job versus personally. Oh, I don't know. Like, if anyone watches this video in the past, like, what do you guys think? Like, in the past, in the future. Yeah, sorry, not in the past, in the future. Because I don't know. I feel that I don't know. Will I change my way of thinking in the future? Like, let's say I become a psychologist, like a clinical psychologist or whatever. Would I change my point of view on suicide? I don't know. Will it? Maybe I get in the field and I'm like so stressed about it, because psychology can be pretty distressful. Would I be distressed about it? Like, let's say I become a clinical psychologist, would I be so distressed that I'd be like, oh my god, you know what? There's so much people that cannot be helped. At some point, it's like you have to let them commit suicide. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not in the field yet. Like, I know about the field, but I feel like who knows? Once you get into the field, it's a different thing. Like, it's different than learning from a textbook or just like doing your service at a clinic. Like it's a job. It's something you do 5 days a week, and just like I don't know. We'll see in the future. But as of right now, I'm advocating for it. I support it, and the negative comments, I guess, just break state your negative comment if you want. I mean, I won't delete them. I feel that you always have to state your point of view, and I'm fine with anyone's point of view. And if you disagree with me, you disagree with me. But I feel like you always need to hear two persons' opinions, and I don't know why someone would be against committing suicide. Like, I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, here's the thing I'm kind of wondering. Like, when people get so aggressive when it comes to suicide, is it because a family member committed suicide? That they're so hurt by it that they feel like no one else should be allowed to do that? Like, I get that part. I mean, maybe that's the reason people get so aggressive towards it. Like, to me, like, I'm okay with it, and I don't feel like I need to like be so political about it because um, regardless, I still know if I make this video or whatever, like it's still not gonna happen. It's still gonna not gonna change. Like, it's still gonna be unethical regardless. Like, it's not gonna change in 5 years. It's not gonna change in 10 years. Like, I believe suicide is still gonna be unethical within 10 years, within 30 years. So, um, yeah, I think like I don't know. I just feel like some people have very strong views. Like, is it religion that's preventing you from seeing like suicide? I don't know. I'm just like wondering because I know religion's a big part. Like, God this, God that, but then the Bible's not really real. Well, in that sense, I mean, I know that it's real and this and that, but how to explain it? I'm not gonna explain myself. Like, I get that it's real. I know that it's real, the Bible, but that's another story. I'm not gonna talk about the Bible. But I don't know, just the whole religion thing and against suicide. Like, yeah, that's what I'm against, the Bible and religion, and against suicide. It's like you cannot compare the two. And then I understand if you're against suicide because a family member committed suicide. Like, it does hurt you. It does damage you emotionally. Like, I know that you know like, I wouldn't want my brother, mom, if I had a son or whatever, spouse, I wouldn't want them to commit suicide. No, of course not. So I get that part if you're against it because a family member had committed suicide. Trust me, if you're that person, then yeah, rage against me, like, for sure. But it's fine. Like, it's your opinion, and go ahead and attack me and all that. I understand, and yeah, you're right. You have the right to advocate. You know, just like me, my brother committed suicide, and I'm not against it, but I feel like he should have had the opportunity to have a safe place to commit suicide. I was horrified when I had to see him, like, he shot himself right here in the mouth. Um, I saw him, like, he killed himself like around 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. I don't know. When I got home, I got a call from my mom at 4 a.m. and then and then I saw him until like 8 p.m. 8 a.m. It took like 3, 4, 5, 6, like 4 hours for me to see him. They took a bunch of pictures. We were not allowed to see him. When they put him in the bed, they're like, "Do you want to see him?" We saw him, and that's it. Like, what? They told us like he shot himself in the mouth, and It's sad. You know, so I'm advocating for it. I know what my family has been through. When before he committed suicide, my family was having problems with him. He was very problematic, and I'm not talking bad about him, but he did have issues, and that always created problems. And I think it was so stressful for him and for my family that if there was an option to commit suicide and he was okay with it, then I think we should have all been okay with it. But after he committed suicide, everyone was sad. We got so many comments. People were like, "How could he do such a thing?" Like with a face. And I was like, I was like, to be honest, like I didn't want to be around people because I felt like they were so judgmental. Like they did not know what we've been through. Like, oh my god, like, are you serious? How could he do this? Like, he was stressed. Like, he was in so much stress. Like, well, there was so much we could do, and then we did get a lot of negative comments, and I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I felt like judge all you want, but like you didn't help, and you're not helping with your comments. And then you know um, like I realized that it affected so many people. Um, when I talked to a bunch of people, like because it's like that went to the funeral, like after the funeral, after my brother committed suicide, I talked to some people like my cousins, and then just a lot of people, because I think before my brother committed suicide, like I was very isolated. I didn't really talk to anybody. I felt like I just didn't like life, and I still don't like it. But I felt like I needed to be more happier. I felt like, oh my god, my brother committed suicide. I think I need to be less negative and be more happier, and talk to people. Be like, good morning. Kind of. I don't know if I'm playing fake. I don't know if I feel like something changed in me. So, and I thought I was the only one that changed. I thought I was the only one that got affected by it. I felt like, but no, I talked to my cousins, my old babysitter, their family, and then like they always talk about how my brother, how growing up with them, and all this, and then learning that he committed suicide really affected them. And then I realized, wow, like it does really have an impact, like worldwide, and people become advocate for awareness. I think a lot of people were aware of it, and they became aware of it, and they advocate for awareness. Because the thing is that if you're suicidal and you just want to kill yourself, but then you don't know there's resources out there, and then those resources, like for us, I'm a psychologist, could help you, then yeah, that sucks, like, because you missed out on opportunities. And I don't know, like because my brother didn't want to talk to a psychologist, so like 6 months later he killed himself. So I'm just, I don't. Then people don't want help. So yeah, that's it. I'm ending the story. It's hot. Okay, bye everyone. Thank you for watching.